Om Namo Bhagavate Ramakrishnaya. For seekers of God, spiritual talks of Mahapurush Swami Shivananda, Chapter 12, page number 32, Part 1. In this episode, Mahapurush Maharaj discusses Swamiji Maharaj Swami Vivekananda's travels on the west coast of India and his debate with Chavildas, who was an Arya Samajist, and some other interesting episodes. Place Sri Ramakrishna Ashrama, Mumbai. Time January 29th, 1927. In the evening, after supper, the monks and the novices of the Sri Ramakrishna Ashrama at Bombay, sadhus and brahmacharis, were assembled before Swami Shivananda to avail themselves of the benefit of his holy company. There was silence in the room. The conversation turned upon Swami Vivekananda, Swamiji Maharaj. The Swami said, Mahapurush Maharaj said, Swamiji stayed for a long time at the home of Chavildas here in Bombay. It was then that Swamiji visited many places in this part of the country. Chavildas belonged to the Arya Samaj and was against the worship of God with forms. He had much discussion with Swamiji concerning it. One day he said to Swamiji, Well, Swamiji, you say that worship of God with forms, idol worship and such other doctrines are true. If you can prove these doctrines by arguments quoted from the Vedas, I shall leave the Arya Samaj. I promise you. Swamiji replied emphatically, Yes, surely I can do that. Swamiji began explaining the Hindu doctrine of image worship and such other doctrines in the light of the Vedas, until Chavildas was convinced. Chavildas made good his promise by leaving the Arya Samaj. Swamiji was such a genius. He could do that. Mahapurush Maharaj continues. It was at this time that Swamiji visited Puna, Malabar and other places. Usually Swamiji avoided travelling by train, but when he took the train, he would travel first class. Ordinarily, he did not accept money from anyone, but if a person insisted on giving him something, Swamiji would say, You may buy me a first class train ticket if you wish. Because of his weak stomach, Swamiji had to have the facilities of a lavatory, toilet, which are available in a first-class compartment. Once being invited, Swamiji was going to Maharaja of Limdi, who was then staying at Mahabaleshwar. Plainly dressed, Swamiji was resting on a bench in a first-class compartment when some distinguished passengers entered there by another door. Finding a sannyasin occupying an entire bench, they became much annoyed and gave vent to their feelings in English. It is these sannyasins who have been responsible for the downfall of India, they said. Swamiji remained lying down and listened unconcerned to their criticism. But later, when they went to extremes, Swamiji lost patience, sat up and started arguing the issue with them. Swamiji said, What do you say? Instead of ruining India, the sannyasins have kept her alive. Just think for a moment how great were Buddha, Shankara, Chaitanya and others. Think what they did for India. Swamiji said, Think what they did for India. In this way, Swamiji proved from history that it is the monks who have kept India alive. Swamiji answered these people's arguments so beautifully that they were very much surprised. The foremost of the critics was so pleased with Swamiji's flawless English and scholarly arguments that he invited Swamiji to his place. Of course, Swamiji could not accept his invitation at the time because he was proceeding to the place of the Maharaja of Limdi, who had great regard for him. Once Swamiji stopped in Pune too. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.